Pekovic, very clearly, it's about controlling the game early on. We've seen early goals come in once again this time round. Everything happening in the first half for Algeria. Is this the right move going forwards?
Yes, definitely, because they allow themselves not to be afraid during the game. And the main difference between today and the two previous Algeria games in this competition is that this time they managed to keep the pace for at least the first half of the game, because versus Sudan, they scored very early thanks to Riyad Mahrez, but afterwards, almost nothing in terms of producing, in terms of game making. For second game versus Burkina Faso, it was so-so in some part of the game, but today, it was better for the first half, even with substitutes such as Aj Moussa, for example, such as Fares Chaibi, what a goal for Fares Chaibi today, and Ibrahim Maza. We will talk about it a bit later on, but yeah, they have quality, and this time they were able to keep the pace at least for the first half.
I think also bringing in the fresh legs, like Karim mentioned, if you have a Riyad Mahrez who's controlling the not just the mindset of the game, but also the tempo, he's creating the chances, he's leading the game. But if you bring in the fresh legs and the fresh minds without an outright leader, then it gives them the opportunity to bring in the creativity, the new way of thinking, and that's exactly what we saw today. It was a big risk, but it yielded some great rewards, yeah.
Yeah, Riyad Mahrez then indeed rested for today. He's got 3 goals to his name so far in the tournament. 7 goals in all for Algeria, four different goal scorers. As you say today, I mean, it was somewhat of a B team that they're fielding, but they have depth in this. This is what you want for a team to be going forward, of course, and Algeria looking very, very promising. I'm sure you'd agree.
Yeah, I definitely do. And I think we made a similar example with Morocco, that these are the sides that have a lot of depth. So if a certain dispensation doesn't necessarily work out, you know that the coach has options. And what better way to practice and try out these options when you're well ahead of the group and you know that you're already making it through the round of 16. And so you also have the time to take these risks and take the opportunities in a high-tempo game, in an equally demanding game, and on the live stage of the tournament. So you can take something outside of training and actually field it on the live action. And that's when you can see that, okay, these guys can perform. And so if I'm willing to try some new combinations in the 2 days off for training, then I can actually try it and see if it actually works out. So we might be seeing some new combinations based on the results of this encounter. Karim, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, Morocco, I agree with you. Morocco, Algeria, and I will put DR Congo and Senegal in this group of teams where no matter the players on the pitch, they can perform. And this is what we saw with Algeria, but that was the case with Senegal. And that wasn't the case with Ivory Coast. I know we talk about it in this show, but yeah, for Ivory Coast, they have to rely on Amad Diallo when he get into the pitch. Then it was better for Ivory Coast. So this is the main difference between the top 4 teams and the rest of a qualifying team for the round 16.
And in all of this, of course, is only your first goal let in for Algeria so far in the tournament. Not even Luka Zidane, who was between the sticks today. He was replaced as well. So looking good for them in this side. Let's have a word, though, for Equatorial Guinea, of course. They're not going to move any further, but there was somewhat of a bright moment, especially for Emilio Nsue. What a stunning goal that he managed to pull back for the team.
Yeah, what a goal from Emilio Nsue. What a story, what a player, we should say, because
he's not had it easy coming into this tournament, of course, with all the off-pitch issues about whether he should be playing in the team, whether he's allowed to be playing in the team. Just to remind, that's what he's been having to deal with coming up to this.
He almost announced his retirement like a couple of months ago, and now he's in the pitch. That's why it's just amazing, and we have to remember what he did at the first AFCON in Ivory Coast, and we were together there in Abidjan and in other pitches to see that he was the best goal scorer of the competition, and that he was one of the main surprise of the competition, because against the host country, Ivory Coast, at that time, he performed well, and he was on the spotlight at that moment. So to see him coming back from nowhere and score this magnificent goal, even if Equatorial Guinea is out of the competition, but at least they scored a goal, and a great one.
What a way to bow.
I think this is where you also see the experience and how it matters in such games, because we're all talking about the goal. It was incredible, and I think it stands out as one of the best goals we've seen so far in this edition of the tournament. But did you see how he rallied up the troops after he scored that game? Like, just the roaring energy, just to say, guys, keep your head in the game, because a lot of them had their heads down. They had already given up, that it was done, we're out now. But I think he kept them in the game to say that, guys, if we're going out on a bang. And so when you have that kind of player, it's really important, whether you get knocked out at the earlier stages, but for the teams going forward in the rest of the tournament. So speaking about Riyad Mahrez, that yes, it was good that he was not there so that we could see some combinations. But when it gets to the serious games, and you have the young guns, 20-year-olds, who are now trailing in the game, you're going to need someone to tuck them back in and bring them into the game. So yes, he gets criticism on whether he makes the selection, but also you need that maturity on the pitch to then bring in, especially the young guns of the tournament. So shout outs to them. And Equatorial Guinea, maybe we can see them doing something in the next AFCON, perhaps.
But they will miss him with him expected, of course, to be retiring after this. For him, they're going to have to find some inspiration somewhere else. He's definitely shown what he can do.